It is funny. You just don't like meta humor.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show about two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
And here we are.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. A little background on us. Lucas and I met in film school. We were roommates in Los Angeles for a little, I don't know how many years, but anyway, I was still working in the industry. Lucas now works at a golf course, and yeah, that's where we are.
I'm in Long Beach, Washington. Kenny's studio.
And Lucas knows a lot more about movies than I do, but I have much better taste.
We just, yeah, it was great. I also like how we open it with me going, "You don't like meta humor," and you go straight into a meta joke. It's good stuff.
Exactly. Just keep you on your toes, man. You'll never know what's I'm gonna say next.
No, keep me sharp.
They don't call me the improv king for nothing. Yeah.
They call it because we're great improv.
Let's just talk over each other the whole show. That should be good for the listeners.
You did improv. Do you want to talk about that? Your experience during improv? We were briefly in an improv group for 1 or 2 practices.
I think we recorded a bunch of stuff, and I never really got off the ground. But yeah, we were like a little improv trio or whatever. Well, while I was at in LA for a while, we're going to Second City because they have a what do you call it, like a studio or a company there. They're mainly out of Chicago, but they have like an LA stuff. And I was there. I think I did really well, but just the classes were just so expensive, like $600 a pop. I wasn't really, making a lot of money, unlike now, and I'm just rolling in the fucking dough. But yeah, so I enjoyed it. I thought it was worth it, but just those classes now, they're so expensive. It's almost like a little like college tuition to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, it can be cultish. Mary, my wife, thinks it's a cult.
Yeah,
they just convince people to keep going to the next class.
Oh yeah, you're doing great, even though people that suck. Yeah,
you're never making it on the main stage, but they keep that carrot in front of you.
Sure, why not? The money's coming in, so just keep the people going when there's really probably very few people that actually they consider to go through a company. But
right, But hey, I made some of my best friends in life in improv.
Sure. Do you find like there's like hostile like you said cult like little like pack mentality or tribe mentality? You think like just like is there an anti like Groundlings or anti like UCBT or Second City or any of
that? Mildly, but not the people I came up with. Like everybody was really cool. Everybody did UCB. I think that back in the older days it was more like that. But for the most part, people are cool. Like it's not that catty and like funny's funny.
Did you find people that were very calculated about who they do scenes with and stuff like that? I noticed that at Second City a little bit about like I won't do scenes with her or her. I will do a scene with him because I need to look good. Like they're all like thinking they're the next big star and they're not going to be taken down by anyone that's not on their level, which they suck.
What's funny at improv is the people who are good, like because you get up and go. Anybody can get up and go. Like okay, who's going to do this scene? So if someone good gets up, like 5 people get up at the same time, like trying to hear that scene with the good person, or someone bad gets up. They're sitting up there for like 5 hard seconds before someone goes, "I'll go."
Well, what I noticed pretty fast is that if you do a scene with someone that's obviously not very good and you make it funny, that impresses the instructors a lot more than just doing a scene with someone like jumping in with a funny person and getting something going. I think anyway, that's what I noticed anyway, because I think it's pretty fast to see who's who, like in the first class or two.
The better upper echelon improvisers say that it's about making your scene mate look good. If you can do that, you're really good.
Yeah.
Anybody can go up and say funny, stupid shit and do a great character.
Right.
You can elevate your scene partner. That's what they're really looking for,
That's what they're looking for. Yeah. So that's what I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the improv derailment, everybody. That's for 1%.
Yeah, you didn't come here for this shit. You came here to go right into buddy action comedies. That's where we're going to talk about the Batman.
Yeah, before we do get in that, Kenny and I both saw the Batman, so we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, which is strange. We both saw a new movie the same week, so it's the big movie that came out. So
we won't,
might as well hit that.
We're not here to give spoilers. I would hate for someone who hasn't seen the Batman to get it spoiled on Buddies. So
yeah,
but we will give some big opinions. So what did you think of the Batman, Kenny?
I liked it fine. I thought it was very okay. it is kind of hard for me at this point in my life to get excited about a new Batman movie, just being almost 40. And I've been watching Batman movies in theaters since I was 7. So it's not exactly a wow, novel thing where it's like, hey, a new Batman movie came out. Yeah, well, what a new one came out 5 years ago. There's gonna be another one in 5 years. Like, it's just at this point, like when I was 7, there I didn't know Batman superhero movies weren't even a thing. Really. I mean, there was Superman, but that was about it. But so at this point, I don't know what's really left to explore with the character. I think that yeah, they took it kind of an interesting, well, I wouldn't say interesting, but like they made it super dark, little emo Batman, kind of that kind of thing. But yeah, overall, it was almost like I saw a Batman movie and I have nothing to say about it almost because it's like The Last Jedi or something. Everyone comes out very like opinionated about it. And I'm just at that point, I'm just like, it was a Star Wars movie. Okay,
Yeah, it was fine. Like maybe it's to some extent you're expected to reinvent the Batman wheel, and it doesn't. It just makes a competent Batman film. But a
Yeah.
fucking 3-hour one is completely unnecessary. And
Really
you
unnecessary,
better
really
fucking
crazy that they went
reinvent
3
the
hours.
wheel if you're gonna make a 3-hour fucking Batman movie. And they just made a
That's
3-hour
yeah.
Batman movie for whatever the fuck reason.
Right. And it's not like we haven't seen the Riddler or Penguin or Catwoman and various other movies and stuff like that. So I think it was very plot heavy. How about you? Like there was so much plot going on. Like why? Like why do we need all that? I
There
mean,
was a lot of plot that wasn't really doing a lot. I don't know. I was actually
yeah.
my main note on that movie, the rate is the length. I was getting actively upset with the movie, like because it was so fucking long. I checked
Yeah.
my watch and I never do that. I'm like, I thought it was like the climax. I was like an hour and a half left to go. I was like, well, fuck me sideways. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Yeah. Well, when did you go? Did you see it like a 7 p.m. screening or
Yeah,
what
7
what time of
p.m.
day did you go?
IMAX
Yeah,
Thursday
not when I
night,
went. Yeah.
Universal City Walk, one of the bigger theaters in the country.
Uh-huh.
So, I was
Yeah.
pretty amped up for it, but
Sure.
about a half hour in, I was like, okay, it's a Batman movie, and that never did anything other than be a Batman movie.
Yeah, actually, that's one of my big criticisms. I don't think it really adds that much to the whole Batman legacy as far as movies go. I mean, it's kind of crazy now that we have like 12 Batman movies, so we have everything from like Lego Batman to Dark Batman. But I kind of felt like we already kind of had it with the Christopher Nolan movies, or even like some of the Tim Burtons weren't that not as dark as some other stuff, but it was to be like, but this time Batman's dark. I'm like, well, that's what they were saying about Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
back in 1989. This is not exactly a novel take or whatever. But anyway, so.
But it's very, well crafted. It's the
Sure.
best. It's the best Gotham they've ever had. I thought that the Gotham felt like the best film version of that.
I thought it was fine. Yeah, just they said they blended like Chicago, New York, like Tokyo. It was just kind of an amalgam of like a lot of major cities. Yeah, yeah.
But it felt like a different Gotham, and I don't know. No, so I'm looking forward to watching it again, but in the theater, being trapped there for 3 hours, mildly torturous.
Yeah, especially if you go to a late showing. I know some friends of Ishvan. Ishvan, both know and love Ishvan. I was watching his like little podcast. They're talking about the Batman there night, and one of the guys was like, "I got my tickets, 3 a.m. showing, couldn't wait." Like he went to the fucking Batman at 3 a.m. Like Jesus, imagine getting out at like 6:30, and he was just like, "I walked away, loving it. It was so but I was like, I would have been first time I wouldn't go to a movie at 3 a.m. anyway, but like Jesus, getting out at 6 a.m.
No, going to 7 on a Thursday was a big thing at my age. Like we're gonna get out of there at 10. A half hour.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
So we're gonna be home at 11 on a weeknight. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. To be a cokehead to go to see a Batman movie at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I couldn't wrap my head around that, but yeah, so it was fine. But I noticed also like some of the kids at the golf course, the restaurant bar I work at, like there's like in their like 20 years old, 19. Like they think it's like easily the best Batman movie ever. So I mean, maybe they haven't seen the old ones, or
Well, yeah, well those
old for them, or
exactly they're going to make one for every generation. So I would if I were 19, I would think the same thing. No, but like you said, we're 40, we've seen them all. Like to me, Tim Burton's Batman's the best Batman ever made, because when I was 7, I'd never seen anything like it.
Like that, it blew your mind, and it was like, wow, a Batman that's like for adults. That's because adults think Batman's cool too. Wow, But yeah.
But other kids, 20-year-olds now, that's just an old movie to them. That's like Casablanca. They don't give a shit about that.
It might as one of the kids I worked with, he said something funny. He's like, I was talking about old movies, and he was like, The only like classic movie I've ever seen or sat through is My Cousin Vinny. Yes, on the tier of like Godfather, Sound of Music, Citizen Kane. Then there's My Cousin Vinny is right up in there. So.
Hey, as far as comedy goes, it's up there. But yeah, that's
it holds up. It's a really good comedy. Not taking anything away from My Cousin Vinny, I love that movie, but like that was funny. That was his one classic. They say, and also now that 1992 or whatever is considered like
yeah.
That might as well be 1941, like whatever,
Time moves so fucking fast. I don't know how everybody isn't just stopping and talking about why time's moving so fast, and like freaking out. Like how everybody goes about their daily lives is just remarkable to me.
Well, that's when you get older too. There's the years just start pumping way. I made a doctor's appointment today, and I just like filled out like 3/9/22. I was like, holy shit! Like, like I can't believe we're in like 2022 March 9th. It's like when this happened.
It's very scary. I don't like it. But let's get into buddies on buddies, huh?
Buddies on buddies. That's what they came here for.
We're not here to talk about our mortality. Are we kidding?
No, that's not what our 21 subscribers want to hear.
No, they want to hear buddy fun.
Buddy fun. Here we go. Should I introduce the movie?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. You introduce it.
Okay. Today we are watching we watched the 2019 South Korean film Miss and Mrs. Cops, written and directed by Jung Da-won. Nice. I had to write these down because I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation right. And starring Mi Ran-ra and Lee Song-kyung.
Good though, good effort. I don't know if you got them right. I would assume you didn't, but I love the.
I tried. So I apologize to the people if they ever see this, and I'm sorry I butchered your name. Sorry.
So I guess I should do the plot then.
It's your turn to the plot. I'd skip trace, which I think this plot's a lot less convoluted than skip trace.
So, it's still not that easy, but woman police detective who was like the top of her game is relegated to working in the office at the police department. Years later, she teams up with the young detective, and they uncover a ring of young men who are kidnapping women, drugging them, and putting their sex tapes on social media in order to garner subscribers for reasons we find out later. I stumbled through it, but I got there,
Yeah. It was very stumbly, but it's fine. Whatever.
It's just important to get it right.
Yeah. I noticed there's not a lot of info on this movie on the web. I was curious, like, how'd you come to choose this movie last week?
I was honestly just researching buddy cop movies, and this one, and there's another one that's South Korean that's supposed to be better. And
you talked about a South Korean movie that you watched the week before. Well, on last episode, you talked about the South Korean movie, so I thought maybe you just like watched that and they were like, I want more. And then
No. Oh yeah, I saw The Villainess is what I think it's talking about. No, this has nothing to do with that. I was honestly researching buddy movies for this show. I just stumbled across it. I was like, it's recent. It got not horrible reviews. We'll just do that going blind. I thought it'd be interesting because we wanted to do a women one, and I wanted to do something a little more interesting. Yeah, I did a lot of research too, try to find what I could. I found a little bit of it. Like it was second opening weekend in South Korea. It
did well. I did apparently pretty well. I think it made like 11 million total, which I think is pretty good for South Korea. It's
something like this
worldwide. Yeah, so I think that it also, I guess, was gonna start a spin-off TV series.
I think they did start that. I think it did happen. I couldn't find it, but I did see in some of the pirate sites like episode 1 dubbed or whatever. So it might have gone. It's just too hard to find.
Yeah. Well, and like also like the writer director and stuff at IMDb, this is his only movie apparently. I mean, his only other credit is acting in some short film, but again, I don't know how the research done for South Korean movies on American IMDb is. So I mean, he could have had a lot of other credits that are just not listed or something. I find it kind of hard to believe that one guy has just one writing and directing credit and that's it on any other movies or anything besides one acting in a short film, but who knows, maybe.
And it's a pretty big movie, I mean, it seems like it. Seems like a studio movie. It was made by the studio that did, Parasite, Old Boy, all those big movies. So
Oh wow,
they're not fucking around.
Right.
But yeah,
it felt like a big mainstream movie. Yeah.
It's got to be, so he's got to have more credits than that or something, because it was pretty competently directed and written too. It's not like, but let's get into
it. Was competently directed. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was very like okay. I gotta say I did kind of enjoy it. I think the more I watch of these, I think I just am drawn to certain genres more than others. As you get older, I think I just enjoy the buddy action comedy genre, even if they're not that great. Unlike, I used to love like horror movies in my teens and 20s. I don't really gravitate towards horror movies anymore. Not that I think they suck, but and I'll see one occasionally, but it's got to be like Jordan Peele or something that's really interesting. I couldn't imagine. I hate sitting through just bad or mediocre horror movies now. So, but buddy action comedy movies, even if they're mediocre, I still enjoy them. I still like them. So that's why I kind of felt like this one. It was competently directed. But I don't think it was very well directed, or, there's a lot of like that quick cut, like shaky cam shit that was big with like the Bourne movies in the mid aughts or whatever. And then it's kind of wound down a little bit, but there's a lot of that. It wasn't as silly as some of these, Asian action movies get. And I did enjoy parts of it. I thought the main actress, Miran Ra. I hadn't really seen her in anything. I guess she's in this movie called The Spirit of Lady Vengeance, by the guy that did Old Boy, which is like her big breakthrough. Makes me want to see that. But I liked her a lot. I thought her partner was fine, but just she's some model, I guess, in South Korea, like kind of a big time model there or something. But she was kind of like the Josh Hartnett part. I don't think she really added much to anything besides, I don't. What did you kind of think overall?
I like both the leads. I thought it was, when it gets to the really silly stuff, I thought that's where it was really excelling. Like because like most South Korean films compared to our Western taste, it's schizophrenic. It's all over the place. It's bipolar. Sorry, with the heavy drama and the comedy, and some of the comedy, like when she's hacking, and it's so stupid, and then it like shows inserts of her hands like doing all this stupid shit on the keyboard. Like when it's silliness, it's really funny. When they open up and they're at the dinner, when you just discover she's her sister-in-law, and she's just yelling at her kid, and she's yelling at her husband, and there's such a dicks to the husband, who is a funny character. Like all that
He's
stuff,
funny character.
I was having fun with. The action was weak.
Yeah.
Oh, the fire scene was my favorite. When they're all tied up and the lab is burning down, and it's just so silly, and it's not a silly moment in any other movie, but they just go full silly, and I love that shit because it's different. You don't see stuff like that.
You see stuff like that. It's a little like, I don't know, very like cartoony almost. How silly they get. And yeah, I thought the tone though was fairly even for these kind of movies, especially buddy action comedies. I will say though, the plot is kind of serious with all the drugging, this like group of guys who are drugging and raping women and taping it, putting it on the internet. It makes kind of sense if you're going to do like a female centric cop movie, have these cops try to bust that. I thought that was appropriate, I guess, but I was a little jarred at like how
they touch
the guys they were going after.
The themes are surprisingly deep in this movie because they touch on women in the workplace and how they're mistreated. They really go deep on that. They touch on consent and what that means. They touch on rape. They touch on the safety of women, even just going out to the club, that men are predators. They just are, and you have to be on the lookout. So they touch on all this heavy shit, for a buddy cop movie.
With a lot of wacky shit in there.
Yeah. But I commend them for going down that road instead of it just being, women being cops. They never went there. They're just
right.
It elevated it a little bit more for me.
Yeah, as serious as the subject matter or the crime, I guess, is, I did appreciate that it wasn't they're just going after cocaine dealers or they're going after something else, and it made sense if you're going to have like I said, like female centric plot. So I did like it. I was just a little little jarred by the whole thing, but overall, like I liked it all right, and I did like the Spanish guitar. I was constantly playing for that. That was strange.
I thought it worked well for an action though. Like it made me go, hey.
It worked well for that kind of action. Yeah, the fight scenes and stuff like that with Miran Ra, and she was good. I would like to see her in more stuff. You know, the action sequences weren't on the level of, I don't think, like Jackie Chan or Michelle Yeoh or something, but they were okay. You know, I thought the fight scenes were kind of quick and, you know, fast, but I also liked when they were just, especially I guess in South Korea, it's just okay to beat the shit out of your suspect when it's lying on the ground, because that happens like fairly often, where there's like, you're under arrest now, take this, and just they start stomping them in the head. You know?
Well, I like that too, the subtle differences in how the law works and stuff. They'll mention something like, that's not
Yeah,
how it works, because oh yeah, you're not in the US or in South Korea, that's how the law works there.
right.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
The first half was really poorly paced. They spent so much time in that fucking office dealing with the
yeah,
boss. Like, I was like, did they run out of
yeah.
money? Like, get on with it.
Yeah, I was wondering, is there going to be more action than that little opening scene? Because this is just a lot of office, you know, stuff. I did like that for a while there. It's almost like a trio of girls, you
Mhm.
know, or women, that are in it, and the office like nerd, you know, this chick that's all behind a computer. She can crunchy numbers. She always knows where they're at in any situation. Like, take a right, you know, take a right down this, left down that. I'm like, does she have a fucking drone with a
But
camera on it she's following them around with?
they play it for laughs, though. That's the thing. Like, they do it, but at times
I
they totally know what they're doing. They're making
I
jokes,
totally
just
don't know
like
what they're doing.
trying to make it like, I
Well,
love the scene, the beat where she's like, you know, so she's going
uh,
left, right, and the boss is there, and they turn to the two girls that
yeah,
are pretending to do their work in a flash and
uh-huh,
just like leave her out to dry. I thought that was really funny.
yeah. Well, I also like that the office, the nerd chick is clearly like model level, like, you know, pretty,
Now she had
and
glasses on. She had glasses
yeah,
on.
they slap glasses on her, like, haha, and put her on a computer. Like, now she's obviously the fucking computer dork. There's the same thing like in that the Vin Diesel Triple X sequel. There's the same thing. The gal was supposed to be like this big nerd, and it was clearly like a model with like glasses on behind a computer desk. It's like, not buying that at all. But
But all three of them had chemistry. Yeah, I thought it was weird, the IT chick, because it was the IT woman disappears from the movie like completely, like halfway
she
through.
does, yeah. Just like halfway through, I thought it was like they're like a team, then she's gone. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, oh,
which
this
is
is
which is fine. Yeah.
which made me want to ask you: is it okay if there's more than two buddies in these movies, or is that to be
Nah,
two buddies?
I think it should be two buddies. Like, if we're gonna have two, I think if we're gonna have like another stakeout or something,
Hmm.
I think we should bring another buddy into the
Oh,
mix
interesting.
here, and we could like do that. Or if there's like double buddies, then we'll try to
So
be four on. But
they can be like our Joe Pesci.
our Joe Pesci or our Rosie O'Donnell, you know, depending on which friend we're gonna pick, you know. So yeah, I think if we're gonna do that, but if it's just you and me, I think we should probably just stick with the, you know, buddy on buddy thing. Or like, you know, if we're doing Hitman Bodyguard's wife or something, maybe we could bring, you
Hmm.
know, Mary in or something. You know,
I don't think she would like to do that. Um,
no, they just like that. I don't think Megan would be happy to be on the show either. So
and what else? I feel like we're going too fast. There's got to be more to say about this movie.
well, I mean, like, there wasn't really much online about it, and it's hard too, because like when something like American movie comes out and like it's like Jackie Chan and, you know, Chris Tucker or something, like I know those guys, and I know like kind of, you can know where kind of their careers were
Right.
at and what was going on, even like the director Brett Ratner, what he went on to do, we didn't, all this other stuff. So without any of that, it's kind of hard just to judge the movie, just, you know, like just what I saw it and this is what I got from it, versus if I knew more about, you know, me, Ron Raw, or the other, yeah, or the other stuff, I could probably talk more about it or seen more of her movies or something. But
I thought the antagonist was good. He was
yeah,
suitably
he was good.
scary. And I like how
Yeah,
he
he
beats
was
the
good.
shit out of her in their first encounter. I love it when they do that in movies. So when they meet up again, you see how much the hero has to overcome.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I also, it's kind of strange, like when the title card came up, you know, in Korean, it also underneath in English it says "Girl Cops," and I always think it's strange in like Asian movies, and then even on Asian like streets, they'll have it in, you know, Japanese or Chinese or whatever, and but then it'll be in English, like something below it. And even in this movie, like the bad guys will get knocked out and they'll be speaking, you know, Korean, and then all of a sudden they'll say "motherfucker," you know, or something like that. I don't know, is it do they just throw out English
Yeah,
occasionally,
well, English.
constantly for some reason, or?
I think English is a much widely known language than Korean. That's why a lot of the signs will have the Korean and then an English subtitle for the actual signs in South Korea.
Huh.
It's
Well,
just
yeah,
more
that's
universally known.
more universally known. Well, like I guess like less than 10% of the world speaks English, but so I always wondered why everything was just kind of subtly, little, or like when she gets a tattoo, it says FBI, and they all seem to know what the hell that means. Like, I don't know. I was kind of confused about that.
Probably just because of American movies and stuff. I don't know.
Probably that be a big influence over there.
Because
I know,
just looking at their top, their Billboard charts or whatever, box office charts, most of them were American movies. Besides like Parasite, like probably 70% of them were Hollywood films.
Well, I also don't know how a lot of these countries, how long they've been producing movies at a high level. I mean, as far as like, not saying they've never made good movies there or anything like that, but I think a lot of countries just didn't have maybe the financing or something until last 20, 30, 40 years, where American movies have been pumping out for like 100 years now. So maybe it's just that, and that was like the big influence for a while, because like Hollywood had just been pumping them out since the beginning, basically.
And we're not historians, but the English thing could be because of colonizations and like England and Britain going in and in America placing themselves all over the globe and making sure we could at least get around. I don't know, but I'm not American, and I don't want to touch on this because half our viewers are going, "That's not what it is."
That's not what it is. I wonder if anybody in South Korea will see this and like, oh great, two ugly Americans are covering our South Korean movie.
They would be over the moon, Kenny.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's only one ugly American. But so what would you give? What would you? What would you give? What would you rate in your 5-star rating of Miss and Mrs. Cops?
I would say we should not do 5 stars anymore. I think we should do 1 to 200.
Okay, fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I give it 111 stars out of 200.
And that's on a buddy scale, or is that movie scale?
Movie. On a buddy, like 1 to 5 like stars, I would give it like a 3 stars, because I thought it was fun to sit through. That was interesting to see like a movie, a foreign movie that I had never seen and never really heard anything about. Just jumped into it and I did enjoy it. It wasn't that compelling. I didn't find that, the chemistry between the leads was okay. I just didn't find the how should I say her name, Lee Song Kyung. I thought she was just okay. I didn't really think she had a lot to do, or I don't know. Her character made sense as they were gonna like try to infiltrate this crime scene. But like the nightclub scene, the nightclub scene. But yeah, I thought it was fine. It was funny and stuff. But I would put up there like Skip Trace, like not like a guilty pleasure like Hollywood Homicide, and not like a good movie like 48 Hours. Just something I put on, enjoyed, but I don't know if I really recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend it. I liked it much better than Skip Trace. I'd give it a 3 on the buddy scale, 2.5 on the movie scale. So, it was completely, once it got out of the office, it got pretty entertaining, and there were some funny bits that actually worked, where Skip Trace didn't have any funny bits at all that worked at all.
I thought there was a couple of chuckles in Skip Trace. There's a couple of funny parts, but at least this movie had a much linear plot where like Skip Trace didn't make any sense a lot, where this movie made more sense more often.
So not bad. Can't suggest it, but for something shot in the dark, it could have been a lot worse. Before we go on, you had mentioned that you made a mistake last week that you wanted to rectify. So it's kind of our mistake section. If we find a mistake in our previous episodes,
our errors, our editorials, not that anyone cares, but I when I'm going on these rants and spitting out all these factoids, I want them to be accurate as much as possible. So last week I kept referring to the character in Jackie Chan's character that it was his niece in the movie. It was actually his old ex-partner's daughter, so it doesn't make him his niece. And the director, Renny Harlin, is not American. He is Finnish. He's from Finland. So I just wanted to correct that for anyone that's keeping score. And no one cares. Yeah,
I care. It's kind of bullshit, I think, that you fucked up so bad.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that you're on my ass about it. So
yeah. It's just people come to Buddies on Buddies to get real hard facts about buddy on buddy movies, and you're just fucking lying to them.
Right. Well, I don't want to be like,
it's kind of shitty.
We're gonna watch the 2010 Mr. and Mrs. Cops from Japan, starring Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. So
It's all about balance, I guess. Right and wrong,
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm right, we're wrong. No, I appreciate you getting ahead of the lawyers on that one. One thing I forgot to mention in Skip Trace, though,
the knives and hatchets were coming out.
I forgot to mention in Skip Trace that they did. I don't think we brought it up, that they did bet you're wondering how I got here trope.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it because Skip Trace is pretty much instantly forgettable. But I forgot that they're like, is that? Let me guess, Johnny Knoxville upside down the bowling alley.
The bowling alley.
That happens,
like, and then she bowls. He's like, bet you wonder how we got here.
Bet you're wondering how I got here. Yeah. Well, voiceover in general, I think it works very well. Very seldomly, like there's a lot of movies I can't imagine without voiceover, like Apocalypse Now, Taxi Driver, Forrest Gump, like whatever, but yeah, like even the Batman movie, he talks a lot and he's not really saying anything, or at least shit we haven't heard a million times before. It's just like like I wake up, I go to bed. It's like, just shut up.
The mirrors, they always have my reflection in them.
Yeah. The alleys are dark as my heart, like, okay.
My favorite voiceover in any movie is The Informant, because it has nothing to do with the story. He's just,
that was crazy. Intentional. Yeah, of course. That's Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, he's just like talking about fucking bullshit while all this shit's happening around him. But like that really works because it's kind of playing with that.
And it just shows what a lunatic this guy is. He's not even paying attention to the world around him. He's just insane.
Right. I love the Blade Runner one with Harrison Ford before they took it out, because they made it do it, because there's that scene at the end, spoiler, sorry, like where the android Rutger Hauer dies. He's like, all will be lost like tears in the rain, time to die. He dies, and it cuts back to Harrison Ford's face. It's like, I didn't know what he was talking about. But I was sure he was dead.
Just undercut such a powerful movie.
Just undercut such a powerful scene, just with him just grunting out whatever.
Blade Runner is a good one. Check that out, guys, if you haven't seen Blade Runner.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up to Blade Runner. Go for that
one. So do you get to pick the next movie? Did you pick one?
I did pick one, yeah. Well, it's a movie I believe you've seen that I haven't, because I think you recommended it to me years ago, and I never got around to see it. So I wanted to rectify that. So I hope you're not you're into watching a movie that you saw about 12 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can manage.
You can manage that?
Yeah.
Great. And and also St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
And I wrecked this to you. I suggested this. Like, I like this 12 years
ago. I'm pretty sure you told me to watch this. And next week, St. Patrick's Day. So I wanted to do a movie from Ireland, an Irish buddy action cop movie. So I picked The Guard from 2011 with Brendan Gleeson and Don Cheadle.
Yeah. No, I would.
Is that right? Did you recommend that to me?
Yeah, I would have. Okay. I love that movie, and I haven't.
Well, don't spoil it. No one wants to.
Let's just move right into The Guard. Let's just move right into The Guard.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to rewatching it, because I don't think maybe saw it twice, but either way, it was a while ago if I did.
Okay. Well, I remember you recommending, so I'm finally getting around to it about over a decade later. So
I appreciate that.
Show, yeah.
Well, when you recommend stuff, I don't necessarily run to the box to check it out, because
I don't think you've ever recommended anything I've ever recommended. You stay far away from it. Like, you got to see Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage. Like, now I know not to see Vampire's Kiss, and I never will. I had almost no interest, but now they said you liked it, I'm never going to see it.
What's that twins brother movie with the twins, the buff twin guys who had their action movie in the 80s?
Oh, the one I brought up earlier. Like, there was Think Big, but I watched Double Trouble, and you were like, "Let's please not watch that." So. I'll maybe save that for another day, maybe.
Yeah. So that's why I don't always run to the box to watch the movies you suggest, because they're really weird.
Right? Yeah.
I liked when you. Sorry. When we saw.
What can I say? I have eclectic tastes, I guess.
Remember when you saw The Power of the Dog and we were talking about that, and you were like, "That movie sucked."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah
Did
blah.
you did you hear Sam Elliott's review?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, you should be reviewing that movie.
You should review all movies like that. Yeah.
He
Go
needs
ahead.
his own podcast. Maybe we can get him for the Rosie O'Donnell Stakeout 3 episode.
Stakeout 3? Yeah. I'll dial him up. He's on my speed dial. Yeah.
No, The Power of the Dog. And I was like, "Did you see that?" And you were like, "I hated it, blah blah blah." I was like, I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but then as it goes on, I was talking about the ending. Like, what? I don't remember any of that. Like, oh, I did fall asleep through a lot.
I had fallen asleep through a lot of it. It put me to sleep, but every time I woke up, something weird and creepy was happening, and I was expecting like a Western, and maybe I just had the wrong expectations. But I think me and Sam Elliott are pretty simpmatic on our reviews. So
yours
just like everything else I have in common with Sam Elliott, which is a lot, you know.
Your review at least wasn't as sexist. Like, what does a woman know about cowboying? Like, motherfucker, you're from Sacramento. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The capital of California.
You were a lifeguard. What the fuck do you know about anything?
You're an actor model.
Yeah.
No, God love him.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Kenny says hi to you in one of the comments. Do you want to say hi to Kenny?
Oh, Kenny Bonzer?
Not Kenny. Sorry, I mean Johnny.
Hey, Rogers. Johnny. Good to see him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Johnny since your bachelor party. So yeah.
Yes,
hang out with Johnny again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make your way to Arizona sometime. All right. Well,
we'll have to definitely do. Yeah.
You got anything else, Dad?
Is that it?
Anything else to say?
So what did we learn from Miss and Mrs. Cops?
I learned that you can have a buddy comedy with some deep, rich themes, and don't be afraid to go there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that if you put glasses on any beautiful woman, she immediately becomes a, totally gross nerd. So,
see, I dig women in glasses. So it's the opposite for me. I'm like, wow, she's even hotter. And she takes them off like, oh, get the dork out of here.
they have to be dragged down to your glasses level. So then you feel like they're obtainable. Now they have glasses, because otherwise
is that what it is?
You'd be too intimidated if they didn't have glasses on with Mr. Four Eyes Dork over there.
I want to go hit on that dork at the bar with the glasses. Hey, Poindexter, buy you a drink.
What you reading, bitch?
All right, on that note, bye everybody.
On that note, bye everybody.